welcome to a Smurd video, and today I am gonna have a quick run through of the omnibuses from my X-Men collection. So first up is X-Men Volume 2. So this is the original 5 X-Men, and I haven't got Volume 1 because Volume 1 is like the hardest one to get and is out of print by probably about 10 or so years, and it goes for well over 100 quid if you are trying to buy it. It's just a rarity. I did try to get it probably about a year ago, and I lost out probably about 30 quid. So pretty much this is where I am, and I've got the first 3 volumes, which show the first half of the omnibus in paperback form. So I've got them, but obviously they're not going to sit with this collection. And this collects the X-Men 32 to 66 and the Avengers 54, which I think is a crossover. We gotta zoom in on that. And the dust cover is quite straightforward. X-Men Omnibus, X-Men side, 2, there we go, and back. Nothing to write home about. So let's move on to the next omnibus. I would say the highlight of this volume for me is the origins of Cyclops, how Professor Xavier kind of brought them into the fold. So this one is just Cyclops' story. Okay, so here is the Uncanny X-Men Volume 1. And basically what happened was that original cast was thought a bit simple. So it ended up getting cancelled. They did some reruns, etc. And eventually they rebooted it with basically a whole new team. So you got the original there, and then you got the new team coming in, a more diverse team, I guess is the phrase that was used. There's the side. Chris Claremont is world famous for his amazing stories. And I felt this had a really nice run into it. And the stories seemed to, they just seemed to go on. It just felt everything about this era for me is just perfect. The stories are well written, they're well thought about, and everything just kind of flows into the next issue. I would say a highlight for me was in the Proteus storyline when Cyclops realized his team were on edge, and he kind of gets them back on their feet for an interesting tactic. Which works. Cyclops, showing them, hey, we can bounce back, and he pretty much takes on the whole team, but it does what it's meant to do. Once again, beneath the dust cover, quite straightforward. No artwork to speak of. The side's the same, and the back's the same as the X-Men. This volume collects Giant Science X-Men 1, the X-Men 94 to 131, and Annual 3. Okay, so the Uncanny X-Men Volume 2 Omnibus with this classic cover of Cyclops and Jean Grey. So I think out of all the volumes that I have, this may be one of my favorites. There's the side. And there's the back, and there are some classic covers on the back, as you can see. And this collects the X-Men 132 to 141, Annual 4 and 5, the Uncanny X-Men 142 to 153, the Avengers Annual 10, and Marvel Fanfare 1 to 4. So this has got quite a bit. And then under the cover, the Uncanny X-Men Omnibus has just pretty much got the same as the previous 2 in front of them. And so is the side, and the back is the back. Okay, so here we have the Uncanny X-Men Volume 3, and the artwork on this, I think it was, I can't remember, this can't be an issue, this must be fan made or created. You can see the kind of era that you're dealing with. You got Maddie down here, you got the hand up here for Wolverine story, and you got the broad storyline that took place in this volume. And that's probably me skipping ahead of myself. So there's the side, number 3. It looks awesome, especially on the bookshelf. And these are the covers. So it's quite a cram-packed book, as you can see. There we go. It's even got the magic 4-part storyline. So collecting the Uncanny X-Men 154 to 175, the X-Men Annual 6 to 7, Special Edition X-Men 1, Marvel Graphic Novel 5, Wolverine 1 to 4, and Magic 1 to 4. And as you can tell, the front and the side underneath the dust cover is the same as the previous 3 omnibuses we have. And one of my highlight is not the fan favorite Days of Future Past or the Dark Phoenix Saga, which are pretty epic stories in themselves and true classics. It's this, where Wolverine finally meets his match in Lord Shingen. Ah, damn it, I can't even say it properly. I can read it in my head. Saying out loud is terrible. And he pretty much gets he's trying to protect Mariko, who's being beaten up by her future husband, who her father has chosen. And well, let's just say he loses pretty bad, and he meets Yuriko, and they go on their own little adventure. So it's pretty damn good story, the 4-part story. Okay, next up is one of my holy grails, X-Men: The Fall of the Mutants. It's one of the hardest omnibuses that I've had to track down over the years. It's so out of print, it's well over, and it goes for, I would say, between 80 to 100, sometimes even more. I've seen on sites. So pretty much you got Wolverine and Sabretooth down there. And then pretty much it doesn't have the comics on the background, which I do enjoy, but it does tell you who the issue. So it collects X Factor 18 to 26, Uncanny X-Men 220 to 227, New Mutants 55 to 61. Even got some extras in there. Incredible Hulk 336 to 337, and 340, Power Pack 35, Daredevil 252, Captain America 39, and Fantastic Four 312. So it'd be interesting to read those as well. And there we've got the Uncanny X-Men saving the world. Basically, that's what happens in a nutshell. Beneath the dust cover, you got this kind of 80s kind of feel. You know, it reminds me of Masters of the Universe or Superman, where they did that whole... Yeah, I'm not explaining that very well, but you know what I mean if you've watched one of those films where it... the way the titles rolled in, that's quite cool. It doesn't say omnibus on this, which I find quite strange. There we go. And then there's nothing on the back, which you can imagine is not needed. So probably the best story out of all of this is the X Factor story, where you've got Angel, currently Archangel at present, and basically Iceman kind of puts his life on the line and to free his friend Warren from being brainwashed from Apocalypse, and it works. It's enough to shock him out of it, which is pretty cool. And then he kind of goes on a rampage, which is cool. You know, I love Apocalypse like this. This is how Apocalypse was for me. And then it kind of they kind of did lots of crazy things with him. I felt things that they probably shouldn't have. Okay, so I don't actually have the X-Men Inferno Omnibus, but what I do have is the prologue. Not prelude, I thought it was prelude. Clearly not looking at what I'm filming. And I should know I've read this. So pretty much that's the side. I got some nice artwork down there. The Inferno book is even harder than the 4 Mutants book to get hold of. And I think sometimes that goes between, I say, 150 and 200. So on eBay, which is where you usually try to hunt these things down. So this had X Factor 27 to 32 and Annual 3. Uncanny X-Men 228 to 238. New Mutants 62 to 70 and Annual 4. X-Men Annual 12 and material from Marvel Age Annual 4 and Marvel Fanfare 40. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So underneath the dust cover this time we actually have some artwork, which is pretty cool. So you got the Reavers there versus the X-Men, and then you've got X Factor versus the Avengers. Sorry, camera wobbly. Okay, camera. Pretty much these stories kind of leading up to the main event, which is actually Inferno. But for me, I did enjoy the return of the Brood in this book. Okay. Next up is the X-Men Volume 1. And there's a very, very nice cover on the front, and it's actually there's a variant of this that you can actually get as well, if you like variants. I do, but I'm not willing to go and get it, if that makes sense. So this was kind of coming up to the end of the outline, and it was heading towards a reunited team, so to speak. So there was a lot going on here, and it was kind of like the X-Men were finding their way back. And it collects Uncanny X-Men 244 to 269, X-Men Annual 13, and Classic X-Men 30. And for the front, they kind of return to the kind of black front and the black side with the silver writing. Okay, so this issue has always been a favorite. It was one of the early issues that I read, and it's one of those stories that, you know, it just kind of sticks with you. So you got Captain America in this. So there's a bit of past, Wolverine's past. You got a bit of Black Widow in there. And then you've got Psylocke and Wolverine, who were actually with Wolverine at the time in Madripoor. And this is just after Betsy had turned into Japanese Psylocke, so to speak. So I really enjoyed these couple of issues. They were a lot of fun. Okay, so that's end of part 1. Make sure you follow me on Facebook. Embrace the geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.